So let us discuss, and how do you assess the Bears trade market or lack thereof for Justin Fields? So I've got manufacturing defect, land holdings, and Paul Bunyan. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a migraine headache is what we're going to make, which hopefully we don't have when we get to the Southern Slam later this hour. If we can actually pull this thing off, it'll be amazing, because I'm pretty sure one of these guys ain't going to show up. But we'll find out coming up later in the hour. So as far as the question, how do you assess the lack of interest in the trade market for Justin Fields? So the NFL, it would appear, is not actually run by people who are TikTokers. That's my first thought, right? That the people that run the NFL, they're not just sitting there looking at clips on their phone going, oh, man, gaga, vavoom. Look at how hot that highlight clip is. My God, amazing. Like, they're not sitting there popping woodies watching Justin Fields' viral clips on the internet, because he does look amazing. If you just watch the highlights of Justin Fields, you think, why would every team not be trying to trade for this guy? And it's kind of funny because some of the people in my business who don't actually watch the games, it's kind of a tell, because they're all pumping the tires on Justin Fields, which tells you they obviously did not watch the man play the last couple of years in Chicago, because there's nothing that he did on the field consistently that would lead you to believe that would be someone you want to pick up, right? So there's a lot of people who are incriminating themselves by statements they're making on the radio. But the problem is the full body of work. It's not the highlights. The highlights are good. The full body of work is the problem. And it's the bugaboo, if you will. And the way you can describe it is Justin Fields has a manufacturing defect. I don't know whether there were incorrectly installed electrical wiring. I don't know about that. The circuits might be a little off there. I'm not sure. Maybe some of the bolts were not put on. The fasteners were not put on right. That's possible as well. So whatever it is, it's there. And the Bears weren't able to fix it. And they kept firing coaches, coordinators, and brought in new personnel to try to fix it. And nothing has happened. And my 10 cents on this, watching Justin Fields, is he's way too methodical. He holds the ball for way too long. And people blame the offensive line. I always want to blame the fat man. It's fat shaming. But it's often Justin Fields, because he sucks at making quick decisions, and that is why he ends up getting sacked more than anyone else just about in the NFL. He's also mistake-prone with fumbles and turnovers. And so you look around. A couple of weeks ago, there was a lot of chatter about Atlanta and the Falcons. Justin Fields is from that region, right, from that area, but it would appear, if you believe the latest chatter, that the Falcons are more interested in Kirk Cousins. And then you've got Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's supposedly is not that interested either. So what do you do? Chicago, what they have to do is they have to go and remark the sticker. You got to lower the sticker price for Justin Fields. Now, page 2 here. What's the latest, and where do you stand on Russell Wilson and his NFL future the day after it was announced that Russ is a bust? And the Broncos are saying, bye-bye, get out of here, to Russell Wilson. So where do you go with that? Now, the gambling market, which I often turn to because they're never that far off. And the reason they're never that far off is because they have skin in the game. They have money in the game, and follow the money. So what is the gambling market saying about Russell Wilson? And we turn to our friends at DraftKings, a large sponsor here at Fox Sports Radio over the years. And if you look around here, as he re-enters the marketplace, the word is that Russell Wilson is favored to go to the Steelers. Now, there was a report behind a paywall from the old gray lady, The Athletic, that claimed the Steelers do not want Russell Wilson, but he is still favored to go there, according to the gambling market, at minus 200 to Pittsburgh. The Raiders. Boy, I think we would have to have some therapy for our friends who are Raider fans if Russell Wilson ends up there in Vegas. But the Raiders are listed as second, according to the gambling market, for Russ, the Bust. And see, that could be his new nickname, Russ the Bust. What do you think? That kind of flows, right? There's a little rhythmic to it. Russ the Bus. Anyway, so you've got the Falcons who are on there and also the New England Patriots at plus 800. I don't see the Vikings. The Vikings make sense if Cousins leaves, and the Patriots actually, if you're the Patriots, you'd rather have, if you're trying to win, maybe they're not, but you'd rather have as a temporary quarterback Russell Wilson than Justin Fields or Jacoby Brissett or Joe Flacco or any of these other turd burgers that are being tossed out as a possibility. Now, not only did Mr. Unlimited cash in with the Broncos, getting a ton of money for doing nothing, he's also still waiting to cash in terms of land holding. The real estate market not booming for Russell Wilson, not yet anyway. He has, by last estimate, over $60 million in property that he's trying to unload at this point. There's a $25 million mansion in Denver. Maybe we can get Queen Roxanne to move into that mansion, or Milkman Mike, or one of our other Denver area P1s. They can kind of house sit for Russ. And then out in Seattle, they still haven't unloaded. Russ and Sierra have been unable to unload a Washington mansion in the Seattle area that is on the market for $36 million. How about Blind Emmett sits in that, or J.J. and Renton, one of those guys? Put him in there. We're good. Crying Craig. We could put him in there. There, so that's 36 plus 25. And that's $61 million. Of course, clearly they're not going to get that much. And that is one of the problems. It's a double-edged sword. When you got a lot of money and you buy a big house, there's not exactly a large market of people to buy big houses, especially when you're not just in L.A. or New York, right? New York and L.A., there seem to be endless amounts of super wealthy, uber-rich a-holes that can buy those houses. There's not as many of those people in places like Denver and Seattle. There's less to bite, less fish to bite there on the bait in the mega mansions in the Pacific Northwest and the Rocky Mountains. All right, last word. Headline now. We go to Seattle, where roster shakeup for the team that's morphing back into the Sea Chickens. Yeah, it's not going well there. We should do a wellness check on Nostradamus and see how he's doing here, because the Seattle Seahawks cutting several veterans. Now, the big name here, let's just focus on the biggest name of them all, Jamal Adams. He gone. Jamal Adams has been given his walking papers. His services are no longer needed. Seattle trading the family jewels to acquire the services of Jamal Adams from the Jets a couple years ago, and did not work out. So what exactly went wrong here? What exactly was the issue? What was the illness for Jamal Adams? So it's not trigonometry, as an NFL coach taught me back in the day. Adams was part of the folklore of the NFL, a product of the New York media machine that was desperate to pump someone up on the Jets, and it was Jamal Adams, Hall of Fame track. What an amazing talent, Jamal Adams. Look at the numbers. The Intimidator. They kept pumping the tires on Adams, right? And the New York media made this guy out to be Paul Bunyan. And then he went to Seattle, and turns out Paul Bunyan wasn't real. Jamal Adams went from mythical lumberjack with a giant axe to one of the seven dwarfs with a plastic butter knife from Snow White. That's pretty much what happened. That's pretty much what happened there for Jamal Adams. And he's been unable to stay on the field, and he doesn't get to the quarterback and doesn't make a lot of impact plays. He's been hurt the last 3 years, and you do the arithmetic and turn out the lights, the party's over. Yeah, how do you like them apples? Well, Jamal Adams will just go somewhere else. Maybe go to the Cowboys or somebody, and they'll try to resurrect his career, and he becomes a reclamation project. Doesn't appear he's going to go back to the Jets, though. But his career on the ropes for the time being.